Thank you for joining us today and welcome to Empower Hour, where we meet with our top executives and producers to pull out nuggets of information and learn and grow. And today I have with us Jackson Brower. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it very much.
Thanks so much for having me. It's an honor.
Jackson graduated from Virginia Tech in 2022 and then joined us quickly after in 23. And just in his short time with us last year in 24, he closed $43.5 million in loans. That was like over 140 families? Does that sound about
a little
right?
bit over 140 families.
Amazing. And year to date, through May, you're already at 17.8 million, which is huge. And considering that you've had a 50+% of growth in spot volume.
That's correct, yes.
Just from last year. So that's amazing. Thank you very much for everything you've added to our company so far since you've been here, and can't wait to learn more about you.
It's been a blessing in terms of career decisions. I don't think I could have made a better choice of joining First Heritage, and it's really cool to be here and have the chance to help people out potentially.
Great. Well, why mortgage lending? Why, of all things, why mortgage lending?
So, like a lot of people, I think I have the best dad in the world. Mm-hmm. Mortgage was a big part of my life growing up. I joke that I literally thought that Fannie and Freddie were people. I thought Wells Fargo was a person. Right. So my dad started out as a loan officer, worked his way through the company, and ended up running a company called George Mason Mortgage. Mm-hmm. And I knew that, he was important and busy, but he was always involved in our lives. He was at every single game. Mm-hmm. He was at every single practice. He was always so present if we needed to talk to him. And I don't think it's something that we should take for granted, that this business gives us the opportunity to provide that kind of life. It gives us the potential to build something really special. Mm-hmm. Potential is a burden until you fulfill it.
Sure.
But he was a great example, and he's the reason why I got into this business.
Well, I will say I do know your dad, amazing person. He was for sure a mentor to me in the business. Worked with him for a long time, and definitely a great individual. And I think it's amazing that you can have that ability to emulate him. And I think it's it's easy in this business to just keep chasing the next one, and to be able to put a different spin and different perspective on that. Yeah. I think is really good.
Absolutely.
Very cool. So what motivates you? What makes you keep coming back and I want to get the next one, but yet still be able to provide that time for yourself and be who you are?
So there's probably two answers to this. There's the real answer, and there's the one that I would like to be the real answer. Sure. The real answer is I believe that I can be one of the best people in this industry. I believe I have a chance to become the best loan officer at this country, or at this company, in the state of Virginia, maybe potentially in the United States. And preparing for this, I don't know why this is what popped in my head, but leading up to this, spoiler alert, we get the questions in advance. But I thought of a time where I was younger and I didn't want to take out the trash. Mm-hmm. My dad came to me and said, Jackson, could you imagine for a second that you didn't have legs, and for the past 10 years of your life you didn't have them? How grateful would you be just for the chance to go walk down to the driveway and back, even for a second? Right. Completely changes your perspective. Mm-hmm. And if you're at this company, if you passed your SAFE MLO exam, you have gifts that many other people don't. Mm-hmm. I think it's a responsibility that you have to achieve your potential, right? Mm-hmm. So that's really what fires me up, the belief that the actions that I'm taking are going to get me closer to the goal. So that's the real answer. Mm-hmm. The answer that I strive for, and that I pray that God changes my heart towards, is to make an impact on other people's lives. Mm-hmm. I'm probably more self-centered than I should be, but I do remind myself that the work that we're doing does change other people's lives. And buying a home for a lot of these people is going to give them the chance to retire one day and build some wealth. So that's how I'm trying to change my focus of what motivates me, is helping
legacy,
others.
Continuing the legacy,
yes.
if you will.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. I like that. What type of steps do you think that you take that helps to have a significant impact on your production?
Mm-hmm. The biggest moments that have led to me increasing my production involved overcoming fear. Mm-hmm. I shared this story at the sales rally, but the first opportunity that I was ever given, I took a box of donuts and I walked into a real estate office. I didn't know anything about mortgage lending. I never even logged into Encompass at that point. And I didn't know how it was going to go.
Sure.
But
well, how did you have the confidence to even walk in the door then?
I think that you just need to suppress fear and take steps towards the next steps. I've never been afraid of looking dumb or being made fun of. I don't know where that comes from. And if you have fear of calling someone or walking to an office, it's not really fear because you're not in danger.
Right.
What
we do is not life and death.
Yeah, what it is doubt. And the opposite of doubt is faith. And I think you need to have faith that whatever actions you take are going to lead to, a good result. So that was the first thing that really moved the needle. One of the next biggest opportunities I got came from cold calling an agent, and they hung up on me 30 seconds into that call. I ran into him a month later.
Dust yourself off.
I ran into him a month later, made a joke about it. They laughed, and they gave me a chance to come speak at their team meeting, and that's one of my biggest accounts right now. So I would just say that for every action you take, there's an equal and opposite reaction. But you can't just stay still. Like, you got to take actions, and you got to take what might be perceived as risk, but
sure,
there's nothing that bad that can really happen if it goes wrong.
Sure, that's great. Well, I think also too, like, having the ability to get back up, right? I think that's always the question. It's not how you fell, it's how you got back up. And what were the next steps? Okay, well, that didn't work. What do I do now to make it work? What different things do I need to do?
Yes, absolutely. Everything's an opportunity. Either you're going to succeed or you're going to learn, but both can be taken as a win.
Well, so speaking of challenges then, or speaking of sometimes when we fell, how did you take some of those bumps in the road or the experiences along the way and kind of change the way you...
So, one of the things that happened to me early on in my career, and it was actually that first office that I came into with donuts. I was starting to get some momentum. Maybe 6 months into it, they call me and say, "Hey, Jackson, there's another lender that is going to be paying us money for a marketing agreement. I'm sorry, you're no longer allowed to come in here and speak." That was about 80-90% of my business at the time. There was another time where I was getting ready to go on vacation. I was going on this vacation to propose to my now fiance, Rachel. She said yes.
Congratulations. Great.
But I got a call saying, "Hey, Jackson, you're no longer going to be on a Stanley Martin community. You hit your quota for the year." And that was about over half of my income at that point in time. When things like this happen, you have two choices. You can get bitter or you can get better. In both of those opportunities, I made a decision that I wasn't going to let one source be such a big part of my income. Challenges are going to happen. There's times in this business where you lose sleep over deals. I think a part of it is just the more that you go through it, the more that you grow through it. And you got to have faith that the right outcome is going to happen as long as you do the right things.
Very good.
But just keep going.
Right. So then, speaking of, what does the day in the life of Jackson look like then? How do you keep going? What is it that you do?
And I'm going to try to be as specific about this as possible because I think you can take away some things in my daily routine that will help you out.
Sure.
And, like most people, there's days where I'm on, there's days where I'm off. I wish I did this every day. I don't. If I do this...
Well, you're human.
If I do this 80% of the time, I'm winning.
Okay.
Alarm goes off at 5:30.
Okay.
First thing that I try to do is reach for a book rather than my phone. I want to feed my mind, get some new ideas. I sit down with a journal for about 30 minutes to an hour, and I plan out my day.
Okay.
I think every loan officer should start their day by doing this because it gives you time to be on offense. And if you're not planning time to be on offense, that means you're going to be on defense. You're only going to be reacting to other people.
Sure.
And at that point, you're going to end up living a life that wasn't by your own design. It was designed by someone else.
Sure.
It's a skill to be able to understand that not everything is truly an emergency. If something is going to delay a closing, I'll get involved in it. If not, I tell myself it has to wait until after 12 o'clock.
Okay.
Go to the gym for about 45 minutes. Shower, eat. I put on a suit 5 days a week.
Okay.
I was 23 when I got into this business, and I just wanted to look older. But I've continued it. Go into the office 5 days a week. If it's the first day of the week, I write an email to my client database or my realtor database.
Okay.
I write at least one handwritten note. I make 10 outbound calls.
Okay.
I set one face-to-face meeting, ideally with someone that I don't already know.
Now, when you walk in the office, do you know who those 10 people are, and do you have that prepared? Like, do you have your running list?
So
kind of wipe through that list?
It's something that I've worked on with my coach. We're developing theme days.
Okay.
Monday is for the realtors that I already work with. Tuesday is to update the buyer's agent and the listing agent on every single one of my deals. And I'm going to reach out to Jennifer to have her start calling our clients for a piece of verbal communication on Tuesdays.
Okay.
Wednesdays is past clients. Thursdays is CPAs, financial advisors, people that aren't real estate agents that can refer you business.
Great.
And Friday, need to determine it. But you can do any category that you want. Right now I'm a little bit sporadic, but I'd like to be more focused. That way I'm not questioning who I'm going to be calling.
That's great. Now, do you ever, in any of those steps, feel like, oh, I only got halfway through, so is that what you use Fridays for, to kind of pick up where you left off, or to say, okay, that'll be my next, whatever I didn't finish Monday will be the next Monday's call list?
Just keep it true to the category. Yeah. I think the more that you can get into a routine and the more that something becomes a habit, it's easier to do.
Yeah. Well, I will say I've been the receiver of one of your handwritten notes, and I appreciate it very much. And I think that goes a long way. And I think that's, in the day and age that we're at with electronics and all that kind of stuff, kind of losing sight of some of those personal touches, I think make a big difference.
Oh, I appreciate you saying that. Yeah. I hope that you could read my handwriting.
I did. We were good. Yeah. I've got 2 teenagers, so I can do that. Yeah.
The amount of people that you can get in touch with too by using a handwritten note to catch their attention is pretty incredible. If you're trying to meet with a realtor that you've been calling on and emailing and haven't gotten a response back, try a note.
Yeah.
I write notes to some of the top loan officers in the country just because I want to talk to them and see what they're doing. They never respond to my DMs, but notes tend to cut through the noise.
Very good. Very good. So of those things that you do on a daily basis, how has some of that stuff, transpired over the last 2 years? Like, what are some of the things maybe that you did before that you're like, that was totally counterproductive and it didn't work, and I don't want to do that again?
Well, to answer the first part of the question, as you grow and evolve, hopefully you get more busy.
Sure.
And to handle more volume, you need systems and you need leverage in the form of people.
Right.
I've been really lucky to work with some great teammates. Daniel was one of the first people to help me out in my business. Kyla Pretty helped me out in my business. And in January, I was really fortunate to bring on Jennifer Welsh, who helps out with contract to close activity. Right now, I'm actively interviewing to help get someone to help out with pre-approval, some more front-end stuff. Okay. There's a point in my business where I was doing, 10 loans a month, and I felt like I'm going to have to work 24 hours a day if I want to get to 20 or 30. But the truth is you need people, and the other thing that you need is systems. I've scripted out every single part of my process.
Okay.
My fiance could probably take a loan at this point for me. My cats might be able to. I say the same exact thing every single time. I have everything typed out for every step in the loan manufacturing process. And I have shortcuts, that way I don't have to type it out. I just click 2 buttons.
You did show me a few of those shortcuts. That was very cool.
Yes. So those are the things that I've done to evolve, and leverage and systems will free up more of your time. And don't be afraid to pay to buy back your time. It's a great investment.
What do you mean by that?
Adding teammates. If you're going to get the right talent, you're going to have to compensate them well.
Right.
It could be a little bit scary thinking about the portion of your compensation that you're giving up, but just do the numbers and know how many more deals that you need to get to make it back. And if it's the right person, it's an investment that'll pay for itself several times over.
Couldn't agree with you more. No, that's great. I know Jennifer pretty well too, and you guys have a great team, and
she's the best.
Seem to flow through things together well and be on the same wavelength, and that's important. Yeah,
and that's one thing that I wish I did a little bit earlier in my career. And if you're a younger LO, might be a good idea to have that conversation with your manager. Hey, what level of production do I get to justify having a teammate? Then you have a very realistic target that you're working towards.
Yeah, and having the motivation to continue to do what you need to do to continue to keep that team.
Yes, I did not bring on Jennifer to play more golf.
Yeah.
I brought her on so I could do more of the activities that move the needle the most. And
Not that you don't like to play golf.
Oh, I love playing golf. But yeah, it's to focus on the activities that'll get you more business. And it's one thing to say it, and it's another thing to do it.
Yeah. So you mentioned leveraging your messages, your quick 2-letter touch things like that for technology. What are some steps that you might want to be taking that you just haven't done yet, whether it be because you haven't had time or the knowledge to do it, or just need the extra push?
Sure. The first and biggest change that I'd like to make to my business is to take our applications over the phone and get rid of our online client profile link.
Okay.
I was speaking to a top producer, and he said something that people say things that either inspire me or really bother me, and this bothered me.
Okay.
He said, Jackson, mortgages is the only business where it's like having the fish on the line. You reel it into the boat, you throw it back in the water and say, get back on the line. That's the analogy that he used for the client profile link. And if you think about it, is that convenient for the client? I would say no. It's probably more convenient for the loan officer. So with this new hire, that's one of the things that we'll be looking to implement, is getting rid of our online client profile link and take all of our apps over the phone, and we'll see how it goes.
Well, I know one of our top producers at the company here, Jenny Kim, that's something that she utilizes as well, and has seen great success in doing and being able to have that more personal touch.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, it's incredible the numbers that Jenny has been able to put on the board. And I don't know how she manages the time of taking all of her applications over the phone. Yeah. She is one of the most impressive people I know.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with that sentiment. That's great. I know we talk about technology things. What are some other things that you do to improve, whether it's yourself, your business, the combination of, like you mentioned, mentorship and stuff, and who you're talking to with the other top executive? What other things you're doing?
Yeah, so talking to people and reading is how you're going to get new ideas. I read at least one book per month, but talking to people it's one of the smartest things that you can do. When I joined my first company, I reached out to the top 3 producers and I asked them questions about what they did to get there.
Sure.
I did the same thing when I got here. I spent a ton of time talking with Jenny and Amit, reached out to Carrie Mushaw, Jerry Berry, Jeff Novotny, and the people that are the most successful, they want to share what they did to get to where they are. I heard a great quote that a candle doesn't lose any light by lighting another candle, and that's definitely the mentality that loan officers here have at First Heritage Mortgage. Right. I do pay for business coaching. Okay. I pay tens of thousands of dollars every year for coaching and seminars and events. And my fiance thinks I'm crazy, but...
The accountability? Is it a lot for accountability too?
Accountability is a part of it, but it's more about getting ideas that you wouldn't think of on your own.
Sure.
For an example, I recently did an event for my realtors to talk about what they can do to improve on social media. Okay. We brought in 4 real estate agents that were great on the different platforms, and they did about 15 to 20 minute TED Talks. Okay. My call to action at the very end was going to be just putting up a QR code and said, would love to get coffee. And my coach was like, that's a dumb idea. No one's going to do that. I'm like, what? So he challenged me to sit down and come up with 5 or 6 more ideas that would, get more people signed up. What we ended up doing was a 30-day challenge where we were holding each other accountable to different activities like working out, making phone calls, writing notes, and posting to social media. Out of the 50 people that were at that event, 16 of them signed up, and we're in a group chat together where I'm talking to them every single day. I've been making calls to that group on Monday as well, and every single person that I've called has decided to get a meeting with me.
That's great.
So just thinking of ideas that you normally wouldn't. I don't struggle with accountability all that much. I can hold myself accountable. It's getting ideas that's the most important part of it for me. Sure. And giving me time to think. Right. During these calls, I'm working on my business and not in my business. The last person that's really been a huge mentor for me is Steve Lagana. I'm very lucky that he's at this company. There was a time in December where I had some loans that were falling apart. I was going to miss some closings. Some families weren't going to be in a home for Christmas, and it was really stressful, not just on me, but on processors, underwriters, and on my team. get a message from my manager, hey, Steve's coming down tomorrow. He wants to talk to you. I'm thinking in my head, oh my gosh, am I going to get fired? I'm like, I was scared. He sat down and he told me a story about a young loan officer had gone through, similar struggles.
Okay.
And he walked through what this person was going through. I don't want to get into too much detail on it. If you want the story, maybe talk to Steve. And at the very end, he said, who do you think that was? I said, I don't know. He said, it was me. It was him.
Yeah.
That's what a leader does, right? Mm-hmm. It's really easy. He could have criticized me, could have condemned me, could have complained about what I was doing, but instead he said, I've been through this too. Mm-hmm. Here's what we're going to make sure. Here's what we're going to do to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's great.
Yeah. So I'm very lucky to be at a company with leaders that believe and are willing to lift you up.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. I mean, that's a lot of the reason why I hope you see a lot of people who think the grass is greener and leave and end up coming back, and those who have at the company who've been here for 20 plus years because of that.
Yes.
So love that. That's great. Thank you for sharing that very much. So Jackson, there's something you said earlier that I keep remembering and I want to come back to. You had kind of talked about your, personal notes that you write and things that you're creating for yourself, your quick touch stuff, your texts and your emails and stuff. But what is it about this operations manual or something that you've kind of are developing and that you maybe are willing to share with the rest of us?
Yeah, absolutely. So the inspiration from it came from a book called The E-Myth Revisited, Why Most Small Businesses Fail.
Okay.
And one of the things that it talks about is a franchise.
Okay.
Think about when someone buys a Chick-fil-A, what are they really buying other than the dirt in the building?
Sure.
It's the systems and it's their process.
Right.
You go to the drive-thru, they say the same thing every single time. Mm-hmm. You get your payment collected by someone else, and then you get your food from someone else. And it's a reliable system that results in a predictable outcome. If you want to create a business, you need to document what you're doing, or else you're leaving your results up to chance, and you're never going to have an opportunity to train someone up to take over the things in the business that might not be the highest and best use of your time. So I've began creating an operations manual for our team.
Okay.
The way that I built it out was I took bullet points on every single thing that I do during a day, from client acquisition, realtor acquisition, the initial client phone call, the pre-approval phone call, and we script everything out, and we have bulleted checkpoints that I'm developing. I call some of them hit by checklists.
Yeah.
The reason we call it a hit by checklist is if I got hit by a bus, someone else could come in and do the exact same thing.
That's great.
So I would challenge loan officers to think about, what are you saying when a realtor introduces you to someone else? Are you saying the same thing every time, and does it consistently get you to the next step of getting on the phone with that client?
Sure.
What are you saying on the phone call? On that call, do you know if the client's shopping you or not? Do you know what their goals are for their payment? Are you walking them through why they should use you over someone else?
Right.
And writing this out will force you to think about it and be intentional. And show it to other people. Show it to the top loan officers at this company and see what they think about it. But my goal is to have a business designed to serve my life, and not a life designed to serve my business. And if you don't build this like a business, you just have a job.
Sure.
So that's, one of the biggest steps that I've made in my business, and it's been huge for helping me grow.
That's great. Well, you heard it here, people. Coming soon, we'll be having a training by Jackson Brower on the next step of his operations manual. That'd be great.
Sure.
All right. So with that in mind, then, where does Jackson see himself in the next 5 to 10 years?
Mm-hmm.
What are our goals?
There's 2 answers to that as well, probably.
Sure.
My goal is to spend the next 5 years becoming the best possible loan officer that I can be, and then teach other people how to do it. I'd like to be consistently at 125 to 150 million in production, and then teach other people how to do that by running a branch. I'd like to get that branch to $1 billion in production, and then I'd like to start a coaching business of my own. That's the 3 steps that I envision for myself. But life is funny.
Sure.
And we're not the ones that are holding the map all the time. I think that everyone has a plan for them, and our job is just to do the best that we can every day. you don't always have to see your next 10 steps. You just got to see the next step.
Yeah.
And as long as you make that, I've been really blessed of how things have turned out so far.
That's great. That's great. So what do you, well, I guess we're now to the end here where we've got our final few questions. What is the best advice that Jackson Brower has ever heard or received?
Something that's really stuck with me in this business, and something that I think all loan officers should try to strive for, is you need to have a faith that surpasses understanding. I was driving up here and I got an email for a deal that was closing tomorrow that we weren't going to be able to do it anymore. And it's really easy to go into panic mode when that happens, and I still do.
Sure.
But there's been so many times where I've had situations that just seemed impossible to get to the finish line, but somehow, some way, there always is a way. And a lot of that stuff, I mean, you got to do what you can, but a lot of it is just out of our hands. I think that there's a higher power, and there's been times where he's stepped in to help out, get stuff done that you just can't explain. That deal's clear to close now. So have a faith that surpasses understanding. It's the best piece of advice I've ever gotten.
That's great. What about the worst piece of advice?
The worst piece of advice that I ever got, when I first got into this business, everyone at my company said, realtors don't go into offices anymore. Don't show up to their offices. The front desk lady won't let you back. They won't want to talk to you. They'll always have lenders that they work with. Don't show up and go into offices. A lot of my business came from that first time that I went into an office.
Yeah.
And what's really funny is I was, when I did that, I was actually watching a podcast kind of like this. And my dad called me and said, hey, what are you doing? What are they teaching you? And I said, oh, I'm watching YouTube videos on how to be a loan officer. He said, close out that video right now and go to an office and show up. And I told him all the excuses that I heard, and it was...
Sure.
I would challenge anyone on this call that isn't happy with their production. I would challenge you to, you can leave right now. You have my permission. Buy a box of donuts, Google real estate office near you, maybe print out some flyers, but just show up and meet someone. I'll pay for the donuts. For the first 20 people that do it, I will pay for a dozen donuts.
That's great.
And, I talked to a couple of younger loan officers on this, during my trip up here, and asked them, what would they want to hear. Justin O'Neill, you better go deliver donuts to someone if you're watching this. And it doesn't matter what you know. Most people don't know everything. But you just do it, and you figure it out along the way.
Yeah.
So that's the worst advice. Someone said, don't go into offices. No one goes there anymore.
Well, I really feel like what I see in you and the success that you have are not dealing with new technologies and all the, like you said, the online loan apps and just sending texts and the easy, quick, fast way to get there, but not there's no feeling behind it or a face behind it. I feel like you're doing it more the old school way and very successfully, getting in front of people, making those phone calls, taking the drive to the closing, doing all those extra little steps that are making a huge difference. And I think that's great, Jackson.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So the last question would be, what would you tell your younger self? But I feel like we're already our younger selves, so maybe that wasn't necessary.
I would just say that have faith that it gets easier.
Yeah.
When I was doing 3 to 5 units, I thought, oh my gosh, how could anyone do 10?
Right.
When I started doing 10, I'm like, there's no way I could do 20.
Right.
And now that I'm doing 20, I know that there's a way to get to 30. It's tough, but just
one foot in front of the other.
Have faith that it's going to work out.
Yeah.
There are very few things in this business that are truly an emergency. Remind yourself of that. And have faith that the actions and the activities that you take every day are going to pay off, even if you're not seeing it right now.
And don't forget to phone a friend if needed.
Don't forget to phone a friend. I probably have called Lindsay. Gosh, what do you think the over-under is at?
Few times.
Probably over 300 times. All 99% Encompass related. So thank you for everything that you've done to help.
For sure. Thank you, Jackson. Appreciate you.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
That's a wrap.